everybody. I'm Deanna Cruz, and this is officially the first episode of my podcast called Deanna Cruz Unfiltered. Jeff, are you ready? Gosh, sometimes it's hard to find good help these days.
She says to the guy who told her she should start a podcast.
You're not the only one, Jeffster.
To the guy who started the podcast for her.
But you know what? If it weren't for you, we probably wouldn't be here today, which is downstairs in your basement.
Hey, don't tell them that.
Why? They don't know where you live.
We're big time.
They don't know where you live.
We're big time. We're in a fancy studio.
We are in a fancy studio. Yes, believe it or not. Welcome to our first podcast. And yes, this is Jeffster. I know you can't see him, but you can hear him. He's blonde. Color are your eyes?
I don't know.
They're not blue.
My license is hazel.
Hazel.
But I don't know what hazel means.
Hazel's like brownish.
I'm told they
greenish.
change. I'm told they change colors.
Brownie. They look grayish.
I'm told they change colors depending on what I'm wearing and the lighting.
Okay. And we got Tech Tom in the building too, who I depend on for our sound and the quality. However, Jeffster is trying to take over here. I don't know what's going on.
Well, no, I did it first, but Tom gets shit done.
Tom may make it.
Oh wait, no, Tom
better.
did it first.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This is officially the first podcast. The other ones were practice sessions.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect.
We did record a couple other episodes, which I'm saying is a little practice sessions that we needed to kind of get out of the way so we could get warmed up and all that good stuff. So here we are. Like I said, I'm Deanna Cruz. You may know me from Hot 106 in Providence and Hot 103.7. There's something about the word hot, obviously. I keep coming back in Seattle. So, man, it's been a while. And I decided to call this podcast Past, Present, Future, because if you knew me back in Rhode Island, you're probably wondering, what have I been up to? I know a lot of people on Facebook are like, oh yeah, didn't she move out to Seattle for her own show? Yes, you are correct. I will give you an update on that, which is why I then decided to call it Present and Future, where we're going with all this. So, hi. And if you've never, ever listened to me before, here I am.
Hi.
Here I am. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, from the East Coast originally. I went to school in Boston and I spent about 10 years there. So I love Boston. Boston's one of the markets that I would love to work in. If any PDs are listening from Boston.
Hint.
Here I am. And then I did radio in Providence for about 8 years. So my first radio gig was up in Albany, New York. And then I worked at Fun 107 in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. And then I went up the street to Providence, Rhode Island. I started off as like part-time, then middays, then afternoons, and then finally mornings with Vesi Parmesan. So I was in Providence for about 8 years. And I kind of felt I've always wanted to do morning radio just because my passion was in morning. I interned for the Ramiro and Pebble show back in they were in Medford at the time, Jammin' 94.5, which is a station out in Boston. And I just fell in love with just being able to speak your mind, having personality, and just like it was just a different vibe. So I knew I had to kind of work my way up, which I did. And then my PD at the time, Dan Hunt, knew I really, really wanted to do mornings. So he's like, you're not ready. You're not ready. And finally, when I was ready, we found a co-host, Mr. Vesi Parmesan. Hi, Vesi. You better be listening to this. And then we went ahead and did a morning show, and we did it for 4 years until this awesome opportunity came up in Seattle, where I was basically brought out here to start a morning show on a throwback station for it was Hot 103.7, and I knew Tanch, and Tanch was one of the guys that used to work with me in Albany, and he was like, hey, I used to follow Deanna's career, and I know she's doing really well in Providence, and then he put me in contact with the right people, and next thing you know, I was shipped out to Seattle doing my own morning show.
And was that like a financial decision to come out here? I mean, did they offer you more money for that, or was that?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And I knew Seattle is also a bigger market as opposed to Providence. So Providence like market 44, and then Seattle's market 13. And I thought to myself, well, if I want to grow in my career, I want to go somewhere bigger. And I did. So I came out here to pursue my dreams, and I said, okay, I'll start a morning show. And the intention was to then add other members to that morning show. So it's like, okay, start it off and then see how you do. And then we'll grow from there. So, and then about a year ago, we stopped growing. So meaning that I got let go from Hot 103.7 in Seattle. And it wasn't because of ratings or anything.
In fact, you should tell them.
Yeah, in fact,
you did.
I was doing really well for our demographics, which were women. I was like in second place, and so I honestly felt like I was like, oh, well, they're not going to ever get rid of me. Like,
and what place were they in before you got there?
I think we were in like maybe 13th and 11th or something.
So you brought them from 11th or 13th to second.
Yeah, all by myself.
In what, a year and a half?
In about a year and a half, yeah. So I never saw it coming, but with radio, you get into the business, you don't really realize that's going to happen, but it happens. And the next thing you know, you walk into your program director, operation manager's office, and it's like, I'm sorry, today was your last day. Wait a minute.
Brutal.
You're joking, right? Where's the camera? Because I didn't see this coming. Like, what's going on? Are you flipping the station? Are you changing formats? And that wasn't the case. They just decided to go a different direction in mornings, and they hired like a new program director for the station, and that's it. And so I was let go. And till this day, I've been talking to Jeff about it and all my friends, and I'm like, why still? And everyone always asks me, well, why? Just get out of radio, do something else, do TV. And I'm like, I can't explain it, but it's like this a drug or something. Like, I can't do something else. Like, I love radio that much. I've always been really passionate about music. I mean, I went to a performing arts academy in high school. I learned how to play the flute and all that in like grade school. So it was like, it's always been in my blood. Like, being around musicians has always been around my blood. Like, even when I went to Boston University, my friends all went to Berklee College of Music. Like, that's just how it was. And maybe I didn't want to be that performer, like the next, Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera, but I still wanted to be around it. And with radio, I figured out how that could still be part of my life.
With all this music in your life, I would think you'd call me a drummer instead of a drum player.
No, drum player. Yeah. Jeffster plays the drums, so I call him a drum player instead of a drummer. Yeah.
I've also been called drummist.
A drummist?
Yeah, by another close friend.
That's a little fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too fancy for you. Yeah. So anyhow, I graduated Boston University, and it's funny because my degree's in broadcast journalism, and I worked a little bit in TV behind the scenes, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me.
I was going to mention, I'd found some footage online of you doing some
meteorology stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, that wasn't still that. I did, I was like the satellite coordinator at one of the stations in Boston. WHDH, which is the NBC affiliate in Boston. And I did some of their, the news desk. So the news desk, you were getting all the news stories, breaking news, confirming facts, all this stuff. And yeah, I did that probably for a year, and I was like, this is not
Local
for me.
News is a weird thing.
It really is. It really was weird. Like, it just was not my passion at all. Because it didn't involve music unless you did like the entertainment side of stuff. But I was like, man, this is not my calling. And then I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting, which was located in Massachusetts. And shout out to Mike O'Reilly, who is one of my advisors. I'm still friends with him. I still contact him. We still talk all the time, especially when you're looking for a job. But he was someone who would listen to my demo all the time. He's like, you have to switch this. You have to do that. Tell them to go F themselves. Like, that's so anyhow, I went to one of their open house, and I was like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted to do, because I forget who the person was speaking at the open house. It wasn't Mike O'Reilly or anyone else who was teaching there. But I just remember them saying, if you were Tom Brady and you were playing on Thanksgiving, would you be upset? You want to love what you do so much that that's exactly where you want to be on Thanksgiving, playing football. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly it.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that kind of like the switch came on, and I was like, nah, this is exactly what I want to do. So, in some of our podcasts in the future, in the next couple episodes, we'll talk about passion and pursuing your dream. And should you ever give up on it? Because I tell you, it is tough. It's tough to know exactly what you want and not be able to do it at this exact time. So do you just give up on it? Do you just move on? Or do you just continue, to push yourself? And Mike O'Reilly, my old advisor, was like, you have two options. You could either continue to pursue it or you can give up. And I was like, I am not a quitter. So that's how this podcast came along, because I feel like I sort of needed an outlet. I've met a lot of interesting people here in Seattle, and sometimes I feel like they come to me, not so much like I find them, and maybe people just gravitate towards me, but I've met some really awesome people, and some of those people came through CrossFit, and others are just like, they just happen to walk into my life. So I thought, why don't we put something together, this podcast, and just interview interesting people and talk to my friends and talk about just whatever we really want to talk about. Yep. Because like I said, I came from a radio background where I've interviewed artists like Neo. I've interviewed Jamie Foxx. I've interviewed Drake, Rihanna, some big names. And I'd love to have them on this podcast. Yes. I'm not saying no, I'm not going to be like, I'm sorry, guys. No. But I think that, anybody, the average person has an awesome story. And when you find out what it is and what their passion is and what they've gone through in life, it's inspiring. So why not give them a platform, Yep.
Right on.
Yeah. So that was my past. And then this is my present. Currently, what am I doing? Well, I, of course, had to pay bills and pay, my people who put this podcast on. So we're looking for sponsors, by the way. And so I picked up a retail job that I am now kind of finishing up doing and not going to be doing that anymore because I found another awesome job. Like I said, people walk into my life and now I'm assisting, kind of a personal assistant to, someone who needs some help. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Jeffster, is that what you explain?
Someone who needs some help and can afford to pay for it.
Right. Yeah. And so it frees up my time a little bit more so I can kind of focus on this podcast and pursue my radio career. And while also still getting paid so I can feed my cats at home. What? They get hungry.
You buy the fanciest cat food I've ever seen.
Shh, don't tell them. Don't tell anybody, guys. But I was at Target yesterday, and I broke down, bought Fancy Feast for them. But
which is not actually that fancy.
But they absolutely love it.
Oh, it's like the junk food of cat food.
It's like the
Doritos.
McDonald's. Yeah, it's
White
McDonald's
Castle.
with fries. Now I try to give her the good stuff, and she walks away.
I opened one of those cat food cans and I wanted to take a bite.
Yeah, the chicken with the pumpkin.
It was like shredded chicken and peas.
It had peas in there. Yeah, I'm sure you could eat it.
It looked better than any human soup I've ever seen.
It is pretty tasty. One of my cats doesn't really care, but she'll eat anything. Doesn't matter if it's fancy or not. The other one took one sniff of those peas and stuff. She walked away. I opened a can of the Fancy Feast. She came over. She didn't leave one crumb. She ate the whole thing. I'm like, really? You know how much money I spent on that stuff? So anyhow, I just thought that I should feed them better. And so I buy them a little bit.
Got to make the big bucks.
Yeah. So
take care of the crazy cats.
I know. So I try to feed them, hoping that they last a long, long time. But my mom, on the other, very opposite from me, she gives them Fancy Feast and whatever dry food. And her cats always live 20 years. Over 20 years.
Wow.
Somebody's doing it right. It ain't me.
Aww. It's grandma's job to make them happy and spoil them, right?
Yeah, that's true. But they're like, her cats are like 20 pounds each.
Okay, so they're overweight.
They are very overweight, but they live like 20 years. Explain that to me.
Well, you don't know. Yours might live 20 years.
Well, they better.
I mean, I hope so too, because I don't want to know you without them.
I'm cut off. I don't know her anymore.
No, I'm just saying.
Sorry, I don't know her anymore.
I'm not sure what mental state you would be in without them, and I don't want to be there for that.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be around. Jeffster, tell everybody a little bit about your past, present, and future. So where are you from originally?
Born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay.
Moved to Seattle 12 years ago to record and play music.
Mm-hmm. Drums.
And recording was kind of my focus at first. Even though I was a drummer, but I I wasn't raised to believe that you could play music for a living. And in a way, I still don't quite believe that, even though I've been doing it for years now. Just because it's really hard to escape.
Paying bills?
Well, it's really hard to
Reality?
escape your upbringing. No, I paid my bills. I paid my bills and I played music. But I was raised in a household where that was not considered a valid life choice.
Right. You need to have a 9-to-5 job with insurance and all this stuff, right? To
Yeah.
support your family.
Right.
I grew up in a household like that too.
Yeah.
That's why my parents are like, what are you doing? What are you still doing in Seattle?
So it took me a long time to break out of that thinking, but that's what I do now. I play drums for a living. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're doing well.
I'm proud. I'm proud of what I've done. I have a life that I really enjoy.
Aside from the fact that you have to get surgery.
Well, yeah, that's not drumming's fault.
Yeah, that's true. And
I
it's
have
not CrossFit's fault either.
It's true.
It's a step stool. Was that what happened?
Well,
right?
I mean, what really happened is I was born with a bone defect in my knee. But
okay, now
yeah.
we really brought it back, right?
yeah.
That's
If you want to get real serious,
okay,
It's genetics.
it's genetics.
It's a genetic
All right.
problem, and I finally got to fix it. Now's the time.
Well, we can always blame it on the genes, right? It's like, oh yeah, it was because of this.
So again,
or
thanks,
my
Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Thanks for the bad knees and teaching me not to play music, which is what I do now.
So that's the present, but where would you like to be in the future? I hear that there's a possible. I'm gonna look into my crystal ball, and I see a move coming in your future.
It is, yeah. It is likely. It is inevitable.
Okay, tell everybody about it.
Well, I love what I do here in Seattle, but I want to do something. I want to do more,
Right.
Or I want to do something bigger and better. And,
Like me moving from Providence to Seattle.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move to LA, where the sky's the limit, and I know I can do at least as well as I'm doing here there.
Okay.
But maybe I could do a lot better. We'll see.
What it would be your dream job? Would it be to tour with a big name? Would it be
My dream job would my dream job would be to be the drummer in the Killers or something like that. But realistically, if I can just tour with bands at any level for, the rest of my life or until I'm too old to do it,
Yeah.
that would be a dream.
When would you write home and tell your mom, "Hey, Mom, I made it"?
I don't know what it would take.
Yeah?
I don't know what it would take. She might have to see me on TV. I don't know.
Like for being arrested
See me-
or for
Yeah, no. She'd probably have to see me on, on Jimmy Fallon or something.
Okay, so if it
I
was
don't
like
know
a
what it
late
would
night
take.
show.
SNL.
What if you were the resident drummer on a late night show?
That would be a phenomenal gig.
Yeah, you wouldn't say no. You wouldn't pass that up. Is what I'm
there's
saying.
only like 5 of those gigs, so that's
Okay.
pretty
It's like
unlikely
radio.
that I would get it.
It's pretty much like radio.
I
There's
do
only
know-
like 5 of those gigs.
I do know musicians though who have those jobs. I know guys from Seattle who are now in
See?
James Corden's band.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Huh.
I know a guy from Seattle who's in Katy Perry's band.
Yeah, I do remember you going to Katy Perry's show and telling me to
Those
come.
were so good.
I know. Yeah, why don't you come? I was like, take another
that's
friend.
right.
Remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thanks for the
You
support,
ended up
Dee.
taking another one of your friends.
I did.
I don't know why.
Took
I
my good
didn't-
friend Katie.
You took
What's up,
Katie to Katy Perry's show.
I did.
All right.
She spells it differently though.
Oh, she does. All right.
And she was admiring the architecture of the Tacoma Dome while I was admiring the show.
Oh, okay.
She's an architect.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
She enjoyed the show too, though.
All right. Nice. And what about you, Tech Tom? Past, present, and future. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Colorado, a small town, Colorado City. I grew up there and started playing music shortly at the end of high school and through the end of high school. And band wanted to do something bigger and better. So most of us ended up getting in a school bus and driving across the country to Seattle.
What band were you in? Because it was it.
Super like heavy metal stuff.
Are they
just
still-
local stuff.
are-
They're not. We're not kind of the same group as we were
No?
then. No.
Oh,
no.
okay,
Things
okay.
have grown
What
and
was the
changed
name
so
of the
much.
band?
Left Head was our name.
It's
when
still
we were
named
there.
Left Head?
It
Do they-
is not there anymore. Yeah.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Yep.
Okay.
Just a nice band that enjoys practicing, writing cool music.
You're
playing
heavy
in town.
metal?
I'm super heavy metal.
Stop
yes.
it.
I told
Every
you
time I
that.
walk in here, though, he's
Yeah.
never playing anything heavy metal.
Yeah.
Well, he likes a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right.
It's situational. I tell people that like the heavy metal is great, but there's certain times for it.
Right.
Some people are like, no, I can listen to it all the time, and they try to go to sleep to it, and I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Like you're not gonna be able to sleep with blast beats and growling vocals. There's just no way.
So when you're cleaning the house,
Yeah.
heavy metal?
No, usually just modern stuff right now. So top 100, some of the hip hop stuff. If it's a little more angsty.
When are you listening to heavy metal?
Honestly, I never hear him listen to heavy metal.
Well, I mean, he's probably listening to in his headphones and stuff.
Yep. The fall is a great time for the heavy metal.
The fall?
So yes, so the weather's changed.
Yeah.
We got the leaves, we got the rain, it's getting dreary and kind of so put on some like slower.
Are you in the house? Are you outside walking?
Driving my car usually.
Driving, okay.
Driving at work. I listen to it at work a lot.
Really?
When I'm working back in the warehouse, I'll be throwing
You're driving
boxes.
in the car. Are you on I-5, on 405? Are you stuck in traffic or are you just cruising along?
Just cruising along. It's in traffic. I prefer not to drive on I-5 or any highway.
I hear you.
Anything over 35
Yeah.
miles per hour, and I'm like, really? Do I got to go 40? Like, yeah.
Really?
I'm much like to drive slow.
Do you work out? Do you go for? No, I was gonna say. Well, what if you went for a run? Would you listen to heavy metal?
It'd probably be work, yeah. As long as up tempo, I think is what it takes. But then again, you start looking at other types of music, and heavy metal's great for the energy. But then there's also really other energetic stuff you can listen to.
I feel like it just make me angry.
Yeah,
really angry. And so I can't listen to it.
Yep.
You don't really need to get amped up, D. You're already amped up.
I understand that, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I just can't even listen. I can't listen to heavy metal.
Yeah.
Like that. Like it gives me like, makes me mad. Like, stop playing that.
Yeah.
like that angry.
It's situational for sure.
Okay. So currently though, where are you working?
I work at a music store in Seattle, American Music in Fremont, and I assistant manage there for the retail stuff, and then I work in the rental department, and we rent backline and equipment for shows and festivals and bands touring as well as parties and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I couldn't be happier right now where I'm at for sure.
And for the future, where would you like to be? What would it be like? Hey, Mom, I made it.
Yeah, for me, it's doing almost exactly what I'm doing now, just getting so ingrained into it that I can pay bills and live in Seattle, which is very hard to live in Seattle now. So if I can get a little place of my own, live in Seattle, wake up every day, go to work, get the coffee from the same place I get coffee from, my lunch from the same place I get lunch from, just fall into that routine. And that gives me a chance to be artistic, make music, do anything that I want in my off time, and just kind of perpetuate that cycle. I would like to get to a point where I can output as much like art and music and anything you can. I think outputting is very important.
Would you ever want to be rich? Because I feel like everybody would say yes, right? Because like, who wouldn't want the money? And sometimes I feel like with our careers, you're always struggling with that, right?
Yep.
So it's like, if you had the option to be rich, but however, you weren't in the career path that you wanted to be in, would you sacrifice your career to be rich?
You would think it would be nice to have the money, and it would be remove a lot of the stress and the worries and stuff you have. And that's a positive thing about having a lot of money. But it seems like I've met people who have chosen that path to not do what they want to do, but do the thing where the money is, and they're just miserable. They're miserable with the whole deal. And so, is it really important to make a ton of money? Recently, I've had some family members pass away, and I've gotten to a couple of funerals, or at least one recently in the last couple of weeks. And so
I thought you were going to say, and they gave me a bunch of cash.
No.
And I was like, yo, Tom, when are we going to dinner?
When are we upgrading the studio?
Yeah, right?
But no, I just saw in the memorial service, small town memorial service, it's like, they have to present these people's lives in 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
And so, are you leaving anything there? You can't take money with you. You can't take any of those possessions with you. So it's like, what are you leaving behind? And so that's where I think it's the outputting of is if you want to make recordings and make music, make music. If you're painting pictures, if you're this podcasts are going to somewhere in the world. They will exist beyond us. So
and maybe it'll change somebody's day and the way they think about something.
Yep. That to me is so much more important.
I agree.
Than any of that stuff.
I agree. What about you, Jeffster?
I'm not so concerned about what I leave behind. I mean, after I'm gone, I'm not going to care.
Right.
If I'm not going to know if you remembered me or not.
Right.
But we
want to remember you, Jeffster.
Well, that'd be nice, but once I'm dead, I won't care.
You won't know. You won't know if people.
I won't know. Right? I won't care. I'll be dead. But
as far as money wise,
well, I just want to really enjoy my life to the fullest,
right?
And I would love to have money because that would really help me do that.
Facilitate it.
But if I have to stop enjoying life in order to make more money,
right?
I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I mean, as long as I can live barely comfortably and do something I love, I will choose that rather than going to work for the man and slaving away all day to make to put an extra zero in my salary.
Right. I mean, we say that now, but what if we could get paid a lot of money for doing what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Well, I would obviously we get paid well to do what we love. That's the ideal situation.
Right. So that's why I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
But notice how none of us are even considered that. When we think about being rich, we think we got to go do something else.
Yeah.
Because the paths we've chosen don't. I mean, you think about celebrities and stuff, but they're like a 1 in a million that you're gonna end up.
That 1%.
Right. That you're going to end up, I don't know.
Lottery winners. That's all it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I have always said that my goal in life is to be happy, not to be rich. I'd like to be like comfortable where I'm not wondering, right now I'm across the country from my family. So it's like, oh, how am I going to pay for a plane ticket to go see them for Thanksgiving or Christmas? I'd like to be comfortable enough that that's not even an issue. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, yeah, I'll buy that ticket. I'm going to go see you, or I'm going to go spend like a week there. I think time, especially when you're tied into the 9-to-5 jobs and you only have a limited amount of vacation, it's kind of hard to get a week away to go see them. But I think that especially with everything that's been going on with me for the past year, I've been like, well, no, time is the only thing that you have, and that's valuable, right? So
it's like, the most valuable.
Yeah, it's
the most valuable.
You can never
thing
make that up. You'll never make that time up with anybody. So it's like I see my nephews getting older, and it's like that's why I keep going back about moving back to the East Coast. And all my friends are always like, come on back. And I've debated. It's been hard because I part of me wants to go. There's days that I'll drive home and I'm just like, tomorrow I'm just going to look into how much it costs to move, and I'm just going to move, and I don't care. I'll start from the bottom again. And, and then there's other times where I'm like, no, you're doing fine here. You're doing great. You have a great network here, and you've met a bunch of really cool people, and you're doing this podcast. So yeah, but if I tell you tomorrow I'm leaving, Jeff, sorry.
And LA is only a couple hours away.
I am not going to LA. Mind you, Tech Tom, he tells me this. He's like, oh yeah. And then when you can get a job in LA doing the same thing you're doing here. Right. And I was like, yeah, okay. I am not going to LA, number one. And by the way, why did you tell me Tech Tom's moving to LA? Because he is not moving to LA. And he's like,
I said he had mentioned the possibility
he did not mention it. He did not mention it.
He did to me.
I did mention that I wasn't interested in it unless we can get like just an amazing place on the beach.
On the beach.
And if it was a bunch of friends in an amazing place on the beach, that would be.
It's got to be a house full of creative people. That's what Tom needs. So if it was the three of us, we're there.
Okay, yep. All right, and then we'll just have the mics on the side, and then
we'll get a sweet house near the beach.
And how much is that going to cost?
We'll talk about that off here. Too much.
Yeah,
too much.
How much is rent?
The rent is not. It's bad, but it's not as bad as the deposit, which is what we found out.
What do you mean?
If that makes sense.
Why do you mean deposit like a month and a half?
Yeah. I don't
Why?
know.
No, explain.
It's multi-thousands of dollars for the deposit, and the rent is several $1,000s. Is what it seems like. Just doing a quick.
What do you need? A
browse.
first and last or something?
It's far more than that. It's
double. I don't know. We should get into it.
It's a lot of money.
I don't know if the rent is $5,000, the deposit's going to be $10,000.
Yeah, I would think that though, right?
Seems like a lot.
It's normal.
But then again, we looked 2 blocks off the beach. It's a 2-block walk to the beach,
right.
And everything got affordable all of a sudden.
Oh,
so yeah, we started looking the farther back you go, and things look really nice.
Well, it depends on what you mean by affordable.
Yeah,
but
affordable by Seattle standards, I think it was fantastic.
Affordable by how much are we getting paid? Okay,
yeah.
That is the funny thing is everyone's like, oh, LA's so expensive. How are you going to afford to live there? And what those people don't realize, especially people who don't live in Seattle, but even some Seattleites don't realize. Seattle is incredibly expensive, and more so every day, and the fastest growing city in the country. And we're well on our way to becoming San Francisco. We're just like, I don't know, 5 years behind.
Yeah.
So we're at the point where the cool neighborhoods in LA, the neighborhoods that I like in LA are the same or cheaper than the neighborhoods I like in Seattle.
I don't know if I believe that. I think you're making it up. You're trying to convince us to move to LA.
No,
and then he won't have a spot. We'll move there and he'll be like, hey guys, rent is about $2,000 each. No, he'll be like $2,000. I'm like, so between the three of us? No, $2,000 each. Where exactly do you think we're going to get this money?
I could get a sweet 1-bedroom. If I could afford it, I could get
1 bedroom for the three of us.
No, for myself.
Okay.
For less than I could get much less than I can get a 1-bedroom in this neighborhood we're in right now in Seattle.
In LA?
Yeah.
Where in LA though?
In
like
Los Feliz.
like someone was killed in that apartment, which is why it's available for free.
Cool neighborhoods that I took you to that you liked.
I don't know if I believe that.
I'm telling you.
So you're gonna get
You come down and visit me, you'll see.
Is that? I'm sorry, I can't do that. Not right now. But I was gonna say, are you planning on getting a 1-bedroom with Tech Tom?
No.
No. Okay.
Not a chance.
All right. Not a chance at all.
No.
All right. So for Jeffster is going to LA for the future, and that's in the next. You say the next 6 months?
Yeah, I got to get knee surgery and then recover.
I say a year. Possibly.
Well, that would be good for you, wouldn't it?
What, a year?
Yeah. You said you wanted me to stay.
Hey, yeah. Oh, okay.
You know what's the reason I keep giving Dee a hard time about moving to LA is because, like she was saying earlier, she's talking about herself and how all these opportunities just come her way and great people come into her life, and she attracts good people, and that is exactly the case. You're the kind. There are people like you, other people I've known in my life who you just put yourself out there, and everyone you meet is like, I really like this person. I want to know this person. I want to hire this person. I want to work with this person. Like, that's what I think. If you just went to LA, before you knew it, you'd meet the people,
right,
who have the connections,
who are running like power the stations out there,
who have the opportunities you're looking for,
right,
and they're gonna want to work with you. Now, granted, everyone thinks that they're going to go get the job of their dreams. And there's lots of people trying to do that.
Right.
But you've already done it. And you've done it in 2 different cities.
I hear you. But at the same time, I feel like having 10 years of experience in radio has made it harder for me to get a job than when I had no experience in radio. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Well,
it's because I feel like they're like, oh, you're too overqualified for this, or, and it's like, I have all this experience, right? But at the same time, it's like, oh, I think if I didn't have any experience at all, I would take the, whatever came to, I'm at the point where I would take it, almost anything that they were, hey, we have a part-time. Do you want to do weekends here? Especially if we're in Seattle. Sure. Of course.
Yep. Just get back in the industry.
Just to get back in the industry, because it's something that it will also change your mindset and also, the way you're feeling, and that's what you put out there. But I'm like, wow, it's just so weird. Yep. It's so weird.
Well, one asterisk on what I was saying about you getting a job in LA. When I say that, I mean, not necessarily radio, because the entire entertainment industry is there.
I knew it.
The entire, but I mean something you love similar to radio or related, but maybe not just
in the industry,
not just terrestrial radio, because that is a shrinking industry and it's really hard to get in. Not saying you can't do it. I know you can do it. Right. But there's so much stuff in LA.
There are a lot of other. It's the same thing as like when I went to school, right? And I did broadcast journalism, and then I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting for radio. You don't realize how many jobs are actually out there that aren't just on the mic, right? So there's like the sound tech guy. There's a commercial guy. It's just there's a lot of other jobs you can do and still be in that industry. Yep. But I know my passion's to be on air.
Oh, I'm talking about you on the air or on the internet or on the camera. Mm-hmm. I'm just not necessarily talking about, morning drive time radio host.
All right. Find me that job, Jeff, and I will move to LA. Find me that job, and I need you there. LA.
If you just come hang out with me and meet everyone I meet, you'll get that job.
I met one of working at my retail job. This lady called Diane. Her name is Diane, and she does facials and stuff, and she's an esthetician. She's pretty cool. Her vibe was really. Sometimes she lives by my retail job, and I'll text her like, "Hey, swing by here." And I was telling her about this opportunity that came up for me to be the personal assistant, and she was like, "Take it." And I was like, "Wait a minute, you don't know? I didn't tell you the full story." And she's like,
"You mean just like I told you to take it before you told me the full story?"
No, she said, "Take it because it was an opportunity that was thrown to you." And if that happens, if it's something like it's kind of thrown to you, she's like, you got to investigate it. You have to kind of like just do it for a little bit, because that means something's going to come from it. Like there's going to be some, it's going to be crazy and you're going to be like, what? But something will come from it. Watch.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
This is the stuff that happens to people like you.
Right.
People like my ex-girlfriend. Uh-huh. And it would happen to you in LA. But
sometimes I need that little push. Do you get what I'm saying? I need the Jeffster. I need the Diane. I need even Cindy to be like, yeah, why not do it? What's wrong with it? And I was just like, Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You know, like why not? Hey, everything on paper looks great. Like if you're going to be a personal assistant, they're going to pay you more. It's going to free up your time. What the hell's the problem?
Yep. And, you know, people with connections.
Yeah, you never know who you're
hanging
gonna
out with
meet.
interesting people who do interesting things and could lead to different jobs.
Exactly.
More jobs, more money.
And this podcast could be sponsored by them in the future. I mean,
Totally.
you never know. Hey, I'm just
Well,
saying.
when they hear it and find out we're in my basement, they'll be like, "Oh, we got to get you a studio
Yeah, we. Why don't you broadcast live from the apartment upstairs,
from the pool."
from our boat?
Yeah, there you go.
You never know. You never know.
Just
but
kidding.
yes, so that's the past, the present, the future. Any questions you guys got for me about maybe my past?
Your past. Dee's
Watch
past.
what you're asking.
I don't
Okay,
know.
we'll just watch.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't
One
really,
question per person.
We haven't really discussed what is off limits on this podcast, so I don't know what I can ask you about. What I can.
You can ask me anything, and if I don't want to answer, I'm just not going to answer it. How about that?
What is the rating of this podcast?
What do you mean the rating?
Like, if you're going to rate it like a movie, R
Oh,
language.
I don't think our language is that vulgar. Do you?
Well, it could be if we let it.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it should be that bad. I mean,
it
I think
hasn't been.
we could drop the F-bomb, we could drop swear words and all that stuff, but I don't think it's going to get that raunchy. Is
Should be
it?
natural. If you have somebody on here that's crazy,
Yeah.
they'll say.
Oh, the guest that I talked about that we could be having in the future. Yeah, that may need to be a little, a little beeps here and there. Yeah,
Really?
maybe. I think, yes, for sure.
All right. Well, we have the technology.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, we'll put a little warning label on it if that happens, right?
Sure.
So record
Sure.
it, put it out there. Warning. vulgar
Parental
language.
advisory,
Yeah.
explicit lyrics.
Any other questions? I thought you were going to get
I didn't
personal
ask
with
any
me.
questions. I don't know.
Tech Tom, anything?
Nothing from me.
Really?
Yep, it's been an easy day.
Nothing going on in your personal life stressing you out?
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, you're 100% perfect all the time.
Fine.
Nothing you want to talk about?
I'm fine.
See?
yeah.
Okay, off limits.
You know what's funny?
We found one boundary.
No, I'm fine. I was gonna say the common bond that we have is music. I would agree, right?
Absolutely.
And then I would say my second passion, or what I also enjoy doing, would be CrossFit and working out. What would be your second passion?
Second, I think maybe my friends.
Okay,
I mean, I certainly care about fitness.
not as much as me.
No, I'm not as crazy about it as you do,
Okay.
as you are. But
It's
I
really
don't know.
bad when your friends are like, God, you'll never see her eat that, oh, unless it's a Sunday. Like, and I was like, wow, am I really that bad?
you, I don't know. It's not bad. You just are. You are where you are. I know you're obsessed with donuts, but you only eat them on Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday or
Or
Sunday.
sometimes both.
Sometimes both. Yeah.
Depends. Depends on if we're in LA at 3 a.m.
Don't tell me
possibly
about that. That's the
having-
only reason I'd want to move to LA, because I'd be unlimited donuts at any time.
Yeah.
Jeff, what are you doing?
Get her
Why,
a-
why are you calling me? It's 2 a.m. I want some donuts. Come on, let's
She's
go.
like, the Uber driver said I was really entertaining.
I was super entertaining. I was so funny.
Oh, yeah. Good times.
So you would say friends and family, basically, or more friends,
it's-
because
Yeah, friends. My friends are
friends.
very important to me.
Okay.
And I spend half my time, I spend often more time than I should just texting friends during the day.
Yeah.
Keeping in touch with people when
you're pretty good with that.
when I should probably be working more.
Selling something online is
Yeah,
what you should be
yeah.
doing.
Yeah, I have a lot of equipment to sell.
Jeffster's
drums
always
and
good.
stuff.
He does check in a lot. He's someone who's like if you hadn't heard from him in a week or whatever, you'll usually text or something. Hey, what are you doing?
Or maybe you text me, but then I will have an hour-long conversation with you when I should be doing my laundry.
Yeah. I told you today, I was like, Jeff, I realized that maybe I should just call you. Just to vent instead of texting you sometimes. I think we forget a conversation.
People still do that.
Yeah.
Some people.
I like doing it. I was like, I got 20 minutes. Hold on, let me call Jeff. Yeah, so
I'm a millennial, but I'm a really old millennial. I'm like the oldest millennial you can be.
Yeah.
So I still know how to talk on the phone.
I do really like talking on the phone. However, sometimes I know it's going to be a long conversation because of me. Or whoever I'm calling I haven't talked to maybe in a year or something. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be long, so you have to dedicate the time towards it. Yeah.
Yep. And I'd rather text and then meet somebody in face to face. I'd rather not call and talk.
You don't like talking on the phone?
On the phone, yeah.
To me, that's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
When people are like, even dating wise, like one of my coworkers, he's been going on a couple of dates with this girl he met on Tinder, and it's all through text message. I said, haven't you called her? And like, don't you guys have a conversation? He's like,
I'm with him on this one.
I talk to her. I talk to her when I see her. And I was like, but I need to talk to people.
Wait. Have they gone out yet?
Yes. Yeah.
How many times?
Like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think texting is the best thing to ever happen to dating.
Oh, shut up. You just said you like talking to people.
I do. Well, no, I'm with Tom on this one. If you just met someone,
yeah,
or you're still in the like wooing and flirting stage,
yeah,
texting is the best thing ever.
I don't know.
But then you go meet him in person, hang out in person and talk.
But here's how to really like strike points with me, or like is pick up your phone and call me. Let's talk. If you pick up the phone and we have a regular conversation, like 20 minutes here, I'm saying, just because I love to talk and I like communication, because this is just the field that I'm in, right?
Right.
That's how you score some major points.
There's a time for that, but early on, like if I'm still trying to win you over,
yeah,
texting is brilliant because you have time to think about everything you say.
Oh God.
You can be, and I'm not saying like take forever and think about it. I'm just saying you have more than a nanosecond on the phone. You have no time.
Yeah, but I want that person who's quick on their feet and who's like, come on.
I know. But with texting, you can be quick, but you can be witty and you can like have just a split second to think about it.
Meh.
And say the perfect thing.
Meh.
I get anxiety as soon as my phone rings. At the very moment,
really, you won't pick it up.
If it beeps, I'm okay. I'll pull it out, check it out, whatever. But as soon as it rings, I have to look at it, and somebody's wanting to talk to me physically.
That's because it's only work that calls you.
No, Tom, I get anxiety if it's somebody I don't want to talk to. So let's say it's a guy who's like pursuing me, right? And now he's calling me and I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling him. I'm kind of like, dude, why are you calling me? Why you gotta call me every day, right? But if it's somebody I like, I'll be like, why didn't he call me? I wanted to talk to him. So it's like these two things. Like if I'm into you, it won't bother me that you're calling me. But if I'm not into you and it's like we maybe went out on one date and now you're trying to call me every single night, like I got a problem with that.
Jeez.
Don't call me every night.
Yeah.
You know?
It definitely depends on what kind of impression you're trying to give the girl. I mean,
whether
you're trying to make her your wife or whether you're just trying to hook up or whatever.
I understand that, but I think it's also a whether, and both parties is like whether you're into this person or not. Because to me, if I'm into you, I like that you call, I like that you check in, I like all this stuff. But if I'm not into you and you're doing those things, it bothers me. You're coming on too strong, dude. You're coming on way too strong. I don't even know if I like you yet, and you're already coming on too strong. But if I like you, then I'm like, oh, he's doing all the right things. You know what I mean? Like a typical girl. Like,
for all your tough exterior, you're a romantic.
I am a damn romantic.
You're a total
just
romantic.
Shoot me now. But
she wants all the romantic things, guys.
I do. Send me the damn flowers. God damn it. Can we end it there? Can we just end it there?
It's a great place.
So yeah, that's a little glimpse of my podcast. Tune in. We will be releasing an episode every single week. I'll let you know what day of the week. And you never know what we'll be talking about. But like I said, I want to be able to talk about whatever we want to talk about, like this right here, and about dating and calling a girl or not calling them or just texting, which annoys me.
Yep. And past, present, and future.
That's it. Hey, thanks for listening to Deanna Cruz Unfiltered. Don't forget to leave a review or a 5-star rating. Every review helps more people discover the show, and you can find my social media links right above. Follow me. It's just at Deanna Cruz.